give me fire, give me that one to the side.
All right, welcome back to Wind Tunnel TV. Tonight, it's the Alive Church Xfinity Series. We've got the Iowa 175. I'm Dean Doucette. He's Jared Carr. Jared, welcome back, man, and you come back for a good one. Good old Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa, great track. I mean, we got a little bit of a cool track as the sun's starting to set over the horizon, but it is going to be a great track. You can really move around, and the speeds are really high for a 8/10 of a mile track, if you will.
Well, I was going to ask you that, Jared. So traditionally, 1 and 2, you run low, maybe a late exit, so to speak. 3 and 4, you run high. Is that still the case here?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, the last time we raced it, this was in the daytime, but a lot of the race was bottom groove, and the top line just did not come in unless you were holding somebody down. But I will say with the last time we raced at night, which was back in the summer, it was very top lane dependent, but 1 and 2 did not move around, whereas in the daytime, 1 and 2 moved around quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see how it works out. I mean, really, at the end of the day, you have to be able to make the bottom work as long as you possibly can. That's still going to be the case. The earlier you move up, the worse it's going to be long run on those tires, Dean.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on that. Right now, we look in on the championship standings. Jorge Leal, been on a tear lately. He leads Bryce Reiner. Those two have done battle across 2 series. It's been fun to watch. They're 1-2. Bear in 3rd, having an outstanding season. Buckshot Ripka's moved into 4th. You got Williams, Greg Ratliff, Jackson, Bruce, Spear, and Paul K. Travis in the top 10. Not many races left. Jared, it's now or never. I mean, really, Reiner or Bear, they've got to win here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, 27 points back for Bryce Reiner. He's really the only one. 3 races to go. That includes tonight, and we have with Charlotte coming up next week. I mean, it's not going to make it any easier to get those points. And 27 points, Dean. That's it's a point for position, plus there's bonuses for leading laps and things like that. That's a large margin, and you got James Bear, who is more than a race behind. I mean, he would need Leal and Reiner to miss a race to really get back into it. So it's really a 2-man race, and I think that Reiner, he's going to have to win, and he's going to have to hope Leal has some issues.
Well, you could help him have those issues. I mean, how bad do you want it out there? I mean, they're not going to do that here in this league, but who knows? I mean, championships are funny things. Funnier things have happened. And in this league, we've seen a lot of great things happen. I expect nothing but the same here tonight, man.
Yeah, absolutely. 21 cars here tonight, so it's going to be slim pickings for him to pick up points. But if you're a Reiner, you have to get out here and you have to get the throttle down earlier. And Dean, he qualified 10th here tonight, so not a great qualifying effort. Leal in 7th, so that's going to be a difficult road for these guys to get through because all these other guys, Dean, they're not racing for a championship anymore. I mean, everybody. I mean, Bear, Ripka, these guys, they are out here for wins and only wins.
Well, that's another interesting point, right? Some guys not points racing. They don't care about your points. They want to win, and they want to win bad. They want a little bit of a reputation for next season. They're going to go after it. So a few of these guys out here, I think, are really going to go after it tonight. Maybe a guy like Greg Ratliff, a little bit of an off season for him. He could use a win, couldn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, Dean, it's been since August since we saw Greg Ratliff in a victory lane circle in the RGR Sunday Night Xfinity Series. I mean, that's a long time. We're almost 6 months since his last win, and I know he's desperate to get that done. But you look at this qualifying grid, we're getting into it, and I mean, it's a shook-up grid, so I think we're going to see a really interesting race here tonight.
Absolutely, we are. Why don't you take us through the grid, Jared?
All right, so starting on pole tonight is Nathan Maurer in grabbing that pole here for the first time this season, and then you have Greg Ratliff alongside of him. Then row 2, we got Brian Helm and Jason Spear. Good qualifying effort for Jason there. Row 5, Tony Ratliff and Paul K. Travis. Great qualifying efforts for both of them. Row 4, our point leader, George Leal, with third place in point man, James A. Bear. And then row 5, Lance Buckshot Ripka, the full season champion back in for 2024 with Bryce Reiner second in points there in 10th. Then we got Olson and Joyner in row 6, Williams and Corey Buskirk in row 7, Jason Jackson and Jason Brantley in row 8, Rachel Hunt and Todd the Toad Man Gilly back in row 9, and then in row 10 we've got Adam Recker and George Dibble with Adam Newton lining up shotgun on the field, but it looks like he is not in the server anymore, so it looks like we only got 20 cars gridding up here tonight, Dean.
Wow, the Bulldog. He went out, I guess, to bury a bone or something. He's not in the field here this evening. Maurer up front. That's very interesting. Him and Ratliff both, along with Spear. These are like 3 guys we were talking about. Helm as well. Tony, everybody up here in the top 6. Really just racing to win tonight. Very interesting. We'll see how this one plays out. Can't wait to get going here at Iowa.
Yeah, and Dean, and all these guys, none of these guys have won in the Alive Church Winter Series. So first off, so they're wanting to get a win, and some of these guys have never won in this league period, at least in the Xfinity car. Like Brian Helm hasn't won, Paul K. Travis hasn't won in the Xfinity car. So I mean, we got some guys out here that are probably thirsty for a victory. And this is a long race, Dean. It's 175 laps. They do go back pretty quick. I mean, we're talking 23, 24, 25 second laps. So it is going to be a quick race here tonight.
All right. So we look for guys like all these guys up front. You know, like I was highlighting Spear, Jason Spear. He needs a good finish just to feel good about racing again, Jared. We talk about it all the time. Confidence is huge.
Absolutely. And that's what, you know, really goes into these final few races, is kind of building up that confidence for the regular season coming up here in a few weeks.
All right, pace car darts off the track. We're ready to go racing here. Maurer and Ratliff, Helm and Spear down into corner 1.
Great job by Maurer. Ratliff going to roll the outside. Spear there as well. Everybody's still 2 by 2 by 2 throughout the middle of the field.
Yeah, good job by everybody getting through there, nice and clean. Tony Ratliff trying to make a move on the inside. He will. Helm down low. He's looking underneath the Ratliff already. A little wiggle out of him.
Oh, Helm sticking it in there deep on Ratliff. Ratliff tried to close the door, but then the Helm did back out the last second. Ratliff gets a great run through the middle of the corner. He's going to roll right up to the back of Maurer in the 60.
Yeah, Ratliff out here ready to race tonight. You know Maurer will not overdrive that machine. If he has to lose a spot, he will. A little further back, looks like Olson making some moves. So Olson on the inside of Leal, he rides right up to Reiner there. So Reiner and Leal both back here in 8th and 10th. Interesting, our points leaders with poor qualifying here tonight.
Absolutely, and everybody's starting, Dean, to get single file just a little bit here. Back a little bit further, you kind of briefly talked about there, a Bear under a little bit of pressure from Bryce Reiner, the second and third place points guys. And Dean, you talked about it a little bit. Leal already kind of dropping back, but we've seen this all season where he's not going to race you. He's going to race the track and try to get the balance of the car right for the long run.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about the Xfinity car too, Jared. I mean, basically, I call it your rule, you know. Oh my, 3 wide ahead of them here. Olson on the high side, powering on through. Wow, right around A, Bear, and Reiner.
And while that was going on, battle for the lead as Ratliff slides underneath Maurer, who lets him go into turn 3. But Scott Olson, he did find that grip out there on the high side. There is a lot of grip on the high side of 1 and 2. A lot of people don't want to go up there. And if you do go up there too far, there is a bump that'll just about shoot you right in the wall. But he's found the right edge of that. And he's making up ground as he moves around Reiner. Will this pay off on the long run? I don't know, but it is going to be interesting to see how far he can go with this.
Yeah, he just set the best lap of the race at 24:05. Greg Ratliff also running hot, 24:09. So, and now he just plays down the best lap at 24:01. So Greg Ratliff not holding back.
No, he's wanting to get out here, Dean, and get a victory. He wants one. He's kind of probably tired of hearing about it, right? I mean, we've talked about it a couple times. Like, hey, where's Greg Ratliff been this year, this season? I mean, best finish has only been a 5th place at Dover a few weeks ago. That's very un-Greg Ratliff-esque.
Yeah, that's a great point, too. The narratives out there, and we're the ones putting them out there, Jared. I mean, they do get tiresome. I mean, so, yeah, he wants to break that trend. And now Helm on the outside of Maurer. So Helm pushing that thing to its limits here. He's going to drive around on the high side down into 1.
And keep in mind, the last time we raced at Iowa, Greg Ratliff was the driver that took the win there, Dean. So he knows this place well. But what can these other guys behind him? As that gap has really ratcheted out quite high already, Dean.
Oh, yeah, he's got a second lead out here now. Brian Helm has moved up to 2nd. Spear has fallen to 4th with Maurer in 3rd. Tony Ratliff in 5th. Paul K there. And how about Olsen? Olsen is up 5 spots, rocking that high line.
What a job by Scott Olsen. But again, I do have to have some concerns. Is that car going to fall off on the long run? We'll see. I don't know. Haven't ran the fixed setup here at night, so I don't really know. But I just wonder how long he can sustain that momentum.
Ooh, and he's right on the bumper of Paul K. He is bumping on it. My goodness. We're on board with Olsen there, and I thought for sure he's going to hit him a couple of times, Jared.
If he didn't hit him, from my vantage point, it was awfully tight. Olsen is wanting to go to the front, and Paul K's going to slide up in front of him, so Olsen's going to have to go low.
Olsen sweeps down the track. This is where he hasn't been. Can he make a pass down here? He throws it in deep. Wow, that's a slide job. He is forcing his way through.
Yeah, he got lucky there, because Paul K could have just ran his line and really just kind of thin him if he wanted to.
Yeah, Paul K there doing the right thing and backing out of that thing and said, hey, you want to go, man.
Olsen back to the high side. Everybody else a little bit single file right now. We do have a little bit of a battle here. Lance Ripka didn't qualify good and is not running very well, but he is making a move on Logan Joyner right now for 10th.
Yeah, Logan Joyner, new out here with us. He's been looking good. Tonight, a little bit of a struggle so far as he's back in 12th and he's going to get past. Here comes Jason Jackson. Wow, he rolls right up to Ripka.
Yeah, Jackson, Lance Ripka. Here comes Joyner back underneath Jason Jackson here. And this is a battle outside the top 10, so not something we're used to seeing out of Lance Ripka, even at this track, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, Ripka right there with Greg Ratliff, he could use a win to kind of get this narrative off him. Right now, Greg Ratliff out here leading things. Helm is chasing. He has knocked a 10th off the time, so Helm, who's been improving, I mean, speed-wise, he's been right up there with anybody, Jared.
Yeah, he has, and it's been a struggle for a few races for Helm, but he has gotten it together a little bit, and he's starting to reel in Greg Ratliff. I mean, we've raced with Brian for years. We know his talent. He obviously is a very good driver, but he has definitely taken some time to kind of figure out what he needs to do. But, this is a short track, Dean, and this is right up his alley.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him today, and, the sentiment was that he's taken the time to learn how to drive fixed setups. And it's something, another guy we broadcast with, Barron, just preaches. I know you do too. Practice, right? And if you put the effort in and you learn, you're going to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different animal. I always recommend to a lot of the new guys to kind of run and get experience with fixed setup, because you do learn a lot of habits that are good by running fixed setup and learning to be fast in it.
Absolutely. I think it's a great thing for all open set runners to learn and to expand their horizons, so to speak. Right now, we look in on Jason Spear. He's got Tony Ratliff. This is fourth and fifth. Tony has been really fast as well, and he's looking to make a move. Can't get there, though. Spear holding him off. In the early going here, Jared, just ready to come up on lap 20. And this is about, lap 20 to lap 30. These cars start to change a little bit. Some wear gets out on the track. We'll see who's got what about that time.
Yeah, absolutely, Dean. I'll be interested to see as this run goes on what we're going to have here.
Back out front. Ratliff now down to 0.7, so Helm knocked another tenth off of it. He's coming. I mean, the 46 looking good here tonight.
Yeah, I think Brian Helm is really showing some muscle here tonight and trying to get in there and have a good race.
Yeah, he seems very determined. And, he reminds me of me a little bit, Jared. Got the speed. Can you not make a mistake? Either wrecking or a pit road mistake? I mean, I like making those pit road mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say you would you want to make them, obviously, but they can really change and update your change your entire race outlook, right?
We've seen it, I believe, on Thursday. Helm and Person having good races. They both have pit stall issues under yellow and lose 5-6 spots, effectively throwing away their chance to win, Jared.
Yeah, we've seen that numerous times in many races that we've covered is, guys try to get greedy on pit road, and you obviously don't want to lose time, but you don't want to get a penalty, especially at a short track. I mean, you're talking about a situation where you could lose 2, maybe 3 laps depending on the penalty, and that is not what you want at a track like Iowa, Dean.
So Maurer started on the pole, now in third. Now, Jared, we've seen this from him. This is just a man managing his stuff. So is it going to pay off? I mean, what kind of fuel mileage are we looking at here at Iowa?
Well, usually, most of the time, in my experience, you don't get a fuel mileage race at Iowa or anything like that, and you don't usually get green flag pit stops very rarely. But this is a one-stop race, and you can stop any time from about lap 30 on. I think you can do about 80 lap, this is 175 laps, not 110 that I'm not usually used to. So this is going to be a 2-stop race, I would think. So I would think that, you could do about 80, 85 laps on a tank here.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, 87, 88, it's a one-stop race. Can someone do it? I mean, we're going to have to wait to find out.
Olsen wrecking on the back straightaway, Dean. Sorry. Scott Olsen. Oh, he's coming up the track into James A. Bear. They're wrecking in turn 3, staying green.
No.
A. Bear locks it down, and everybody avoids him, but Olsen out of control on the back straightaway comes right back up on the track in front of James A. Bear. That's a tough break.
We're a little bit worried about that. Overdriving perhaps a little bit. Let's get a look at it. So there's Olsen already loose going down the track. Under speed, he comes back up. Oh my goodness, right into A-Bear. That's a criminal offense right there, Jared.
Yeah, it's tough. That transition is tough, right? And sometimes you feel like you got the car under control. You feel like you're fine. And then all of a sudden, you hit that bump because it's a pretty rough transition there. And I think when Olsen got it back together, he hit that bump and it just kind of skated him straight up. And unfortunately, there was a driver there.
Well, he may have to talk to one of these presidents. They're handing out pardons these days, Jared.
Yeah. You just never know.
So here we go. We talked about pit road. Here we go. Everybody coming in. You can't make mistakes. Already, Ratliff has separated by 2-3 car lengths. Advantage Ratliff. He's got to love that. So that's a little bit of a mistake already by Helm.
Here we go, pit road time, and this is crucial. I mean, green flag stop, and this is going to kind of change things up a little bit here, and how things are going to kind of play out.
Oh, it will. Any mistake here will be severely magnified. All the front runners looked like they got in all right.
All right, everybody on the right sides now. It's going to be good stop there. Ratliff down the way. Maurer is going to beat Helm out. Then it's going to be Tony Ratliff, Jason Spear, Bryce Reiner barely beating Paul K. Travis, then Leal, and then everybody else singles out through pit road.
Well, I didn't see any mistakes there, so pretty much status quo. I think Tony Ratliff might have picked up a spot, and Maurer picked up a spot. So any thoughts of a one-stopper, Jared? It's out the window now. We're at a 145 lap race currently. So you're looking at 72, 73 lap runs. They can do that, can't they?
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but it is usually about 80 laps. I mean, whatever that number is, it's comfortably toward the back end of a 110 lap race. So I think it's around 80 laps. So at this point, you know, you're not going to do a one stopper at all. Unfortunately for these guys that might have been trying to do that. But on the flip side, Dean, it kind of opens up this other strategy of like, where do you cross this thing out? Where do you start coming down pit road and start working on that?
Yeah, definitely opens up the possibilities here. Greg Ratliff right where he wants to be now. He started second last time, had to put, the gas pedal down to get out there to get to the front. This time he can take it a little easier. Look for Helm, though, to put pressure on him.
Yeah, I think now, Helm's in a little bit better spot. I mean, I think he was kind of feeling things out. And, maybe he was a little bit surprised he was that close, right? I mean, he's kind of like, hey, we're here. And now he's got an opportunity to kind of get back in there.
Most definitely rocking that Fox car. Love it. Great looking paint. They all are. You see Reiner has made his way up to fifth. So Reiner's picked up 5 spots, Jared.
Yeah, this is crucial. He is starting 1 spot on the outside line in front of Leal, so 2 total spots. But that's going to be crucial. That's kind of the battle we're looking at. He needs to finish and have as many cars in between him and Leal if he wants a shot over these next 2 races.
Pace car pulls off the track. Greg Ratliff leads him down. He's gone. So good start there. Tony Ratliff looked a little slow on the high side. That bunches them up a bit. Spear with an early checkup. Now he's rolling. Kind of checked up Paul K there a little bit.
And Spear a little bit loose on the bottom. He's going to get engulfed by Paul K. Travis on the bottom. I thought Reiner was going to slide in there as well. Reiner rolls the top and holds on. Helm to the outside of Maurer for the battle for second. Maurer holds him off for now.
Wow, battles all around. Maurer holds off Helm. Paul K trying to...
Oh, contact! Paul K and Reiner.
Yeah, he shoved him up the track. You can see Leal playing nice there, is backed out. Him and Jackson let Reiner get back in line. Logan Joyner capitalizes, though. Now he's underneath of Paul K. Travis.
And these cautions, Dean, they give you an opportunity, right? If you're feeling like, oh, man, I moved up during that last green flag run. I need to be more aggressive this time. You're going to start to see that as Jackson moves underneath Leal. And we got tight battles. How about Logan there underneath Paul K. Travis trying to move forward?
Yeah, Logan Joyner showed speed when he's been out here. Now got a little bit of track position. He's up 5 spots. He's looking for more. Maurer down to the bottom side. He might not want to be there. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, Maurer got loose off the corner. It's going to cost him some spots. That's why Ratliff and now Spear have rolled by him. Helm got by him as well earlier, so Helm back to second place. But Ratliff has loving this battle because he's been able to open up that gap while he's been saving stuff.
And how about Spear? A little loose off the corner, but he's gotten in front of Maurer here as Greg Ratliff cracks the 24-second barrier, setting the fastest lap.
Somebody might have scraped the wall off the corner, but I did not see who it was. But this is we're starting to ratchet up the intensity a little bit, Dean.
We absolutely are ratcheting it up here.
Everybody getting single file now, as we've kind of gotten everybody kind of worked in a little bit. Interesting lines. Maurer taking a very early entry to the corner, which is causing him to kind of wash up, and he's losing a lot of time. He's not opening the corner up, but Dean, that could pay off on the long run for him because he's not using that right rear as much.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is purposeful on his point. We'll see how it plays out. You know, look at the back of this pack. You got Rachel Hunt back here behind Brantley. Talked a little bit to Rachel today. You know, Rachel battling that Parkinson's, and a track like this, seemingly a little tough for her. Shouldn't enjoy it too much, but she's out here, as she always is. I mean, she's one of the most active iRacers around, and it helps her with that Parkinson's.
Absolutely, and you know, Rachel, a lot of respect for her. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet on the service, Dean, and you know, you like to see good things, and you know, she's out here, she enjoys racing, and that's the thing, is like she enjoys it. Not her type of track, you know. I've definitely seen her say that in the past, but man, she's out here being a trooper.
She is. We love her. Got nothing but love and respect for her, and don't kid yourself, she'll whoop you out on some of these tracks too.
Tony Ratliff, Dean, moving back up front here, has started to close the gap down to Brian Helm. Greg Ratliff, Dean, remember, he didn't start on the pole. He had to actually make a pass. So it has been one of those situations where I think Greg Ratliff has kind of liked that clean air a little bit sooner, and he has been able to open up that gap significantly.
Yeah, I thought it'd be important for him because he's got Helm behind him and Tony Ratliff. Two guys not known for tire saving. They're going to come out here full blast. Greg's been kind of running that way too. So these three are setting the pace. But how about fourth place? Quietly, the 83 of Jason Spears sitting here right now. I mean, this is one of his best spots he's been in lately. He's been snake bit. He's got to be happy sitting here.
Absolutely, and I think that's got to be something on his mind. But, you know, at the same time, Dean, we still got a lot of laps to go. A lot can happen.
Oh, yeah, anything can and will happen here in the Alive Church Xfinity Series. Live fully alive. You know, Jared, you were telling me you were down there at, what was it, the Chili Bowl?
Yeah. Down at the Chili Bowl, down at the Tulsa Expo Center, watching some dirt racing. Just a heck of an experience.
Yeah, unbelievable, man. I'm so happy you got to do that. What a great, great event there. Look at this line of cars here behind Logan Joyner. It is unbelievable. We got 10, 12 cars all lined up here. I don't know who's going to make a move, but someone's going to get antsy. Here comes Jackson.
Yeah, and the weird thing is nobody's really putting pressure on each other until just now, where Jackson put a little pressure on Paul Kay, who's going to roll the outside and make that work and get around Reiner kind of unintentionally.
Yeah, Reiner now in a bit of trouble here with the whole line of cars. He can't hold that spot. Paul Kay drives right around him. Now Jackson looking to fill the spot. He can't do it.
And the top five have kind of walked away from this little group here. And it's really the rest of the field, Dean. I mean, the rest of the field is kind of in this second group. I mean, it's only 2 seconds or so back to Rachel Hunt at the trail end of this field.
Absolutely. Right now, Greg Ratliff with about a second lead over Helm. Tony Ratliff closing in on Brian Helm. These two really fast. Can they do something? Spear trying to be patient with another guy who's shown patience, Nate Maurer. These two going to be dangerous going forward.
Yeah, I think that's going to be crucial. Oh, almost Ripka got in the back of Leal. That's kind of what, you know, Reiner would want. Ripka had to take a little bit of an action there to keep from running into him. Everybody's really stacking up in this middle pack. I mean, and now we got a battle with Maurer underneath Spear. Hard, heavy battle, but hard to believe, Dean. That's almost 2 seconds ahead of this major pack here as Maurer finally gets around Spear.
Yeah, I think Spear let him go there. He didn't want no part of that battle. Don't blame him. And you're right, that pack, absolutely crazy. Contact! Logan Joyner and the 88 Paul K. Travis. Here comes Reiner looking in the middle. Holy cow.
Yeah, up the outside there, and you see, oh, Reiner pushed loose off the corner. He was yawed out big time there. Looks underneath, and Reiner's going to get by. Now Jason Jackson. Leal sliding there. How about Ripka in this group? Adam Recker in this group. Todd Toadman, the Gilly Man, back there as well. Dean, and we've got the whole family back in this group.
Yeah, it looks like Logan Joyner fading a bit here, and everybody trying to work underneath him here. This is something. I mean, they are really bottlenecked up.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of tire saving for some of these guys, and now all of a sudden that tire, it's like, oh, they're 5 seconds ahead up there. We got to get going. And Recker now underneath Joyner.
So Joyner in a world of hurt right now.
And this track will kind of sneak up on you, Dean. It especially at night. You don't feel like you're abusing the tires. You don't feel like it. Your lap times are fine. And then all of a sudden, all that damage you did in the first 5 or 10 laps of a run just comes out of nowhere to bite you, and it just hits you like a ton of bricks at this track, and you just start dropping like a rock if you've mismanaged those tires.
These battles continue. Recker underneath Joyner, the Toadman right there looking to pounce as well. Looks like Corey Buskirk trying to get in here as well. Nice little run for him. We check back up front. Ratliff now has opened up a 2.5 lead. Helm has extended a bit on Tony Ratliff, so things getting spread out at the front. Maurer has cleared Spear and started to walk away now, so watch out for Maurer on the long run. Reiner catching up to Paul K. Travis. That's a battle for 6th. Jason Jackson's cleared that group, and Leal and Ripka have come to the front of the group as well.
Yeah, this group is just battling so hard back through here. I mean, and nobody's really pulled out. I mean, even with that battle, only the first couple guys that got through there have kind of opened up that gap. That's, Paul K. Travis and Bryce Reiner have started to kind of close in on Spear and Nathan Maurer. But the top 3 are really far ahead. I mean, they're almost about a half a track ahead of Rachel Hutt, who is in the tail end of that group.
Yeah, I'm a little amazed at just how much they've been able to open up here. I mean, Greg Ratliff, holy cow, absolutely flying around here. Our leader, the 5 machine, talked a lot about it pre-race. He needs one, he wants one, he's got the position, and he's still opening up that gap.
Yeah, and we look at this race. I mean, it has been an amazing battle, and Rachel Hutt, speaking of battle, she's going to make a move on Jason Brantley back here, Dean. She's been riding around, kind of taking it easy, and I think she wants to get racing.
Yeah, she says, hey, maybe I'm not so bad here after all. I got the tires, been very patient, and she takes to the high side. That's where I like to be. Rock that high side there.
And you look at the other battles on the track right now, not much going on, but Todd Gilly making a move on Logan Joyner now and into turn 1.
Logan continuing to fade. I mean, he must have burnt them up or something, because he's been struggling, man. He's been fading. The Toadman's picked up 5 spots now, looking for another.
Yeah, and somebody, James A. Bear, giving somebody strategies away on the iRacing chat there, Dean. So that whoever he was talking to was needing some help, and he gave it to him, but he gave it to everybody, unfortunately.
All right. Well, you got to go private with those comments if you want to hide them.
Absolutely, but otherwise, I mean, this has been a fantastic race, except for that little incident we had, Dean, and we're starting to get through about a quarter of the way through this race, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, lap 60 of 175 here in the Iowa 175 with RGR Racing in the Alive Church Xfinity Series. Up front, very easy going as they're all spread out. Ratliff, Helm, and brother Tony Ratliff in third. Maurer trying to make some hay here. And right now, Maurer faster than Tony Ratliff, right around the same as our leaders. They're all running right around 25 flat here.
Yeah, and you look at the lap times, there's not enough gap that you're going to be picking up the time to get back into this thing without a caution or some bad pit stops, right? I mean, it is just hundreds and tenths, and really you need to be picking up a couple tenths to really gain some positions in this top little group here.
Yeah, it's so frustrating here. I mean, you can work for 20 laps to make up a half second and lose it all in one turn.
Battle for fifth position there is Jason Spear under pressure from Paul K. Fights back on the outside. That's going to invite Bryce Reiner to the party.
Yeah, Reiner's starting to move forward again. He takes to the bottom here. Falls right back in line. Behind him, Jackson and Leal. Leal, your points leader, currently in ninth. And interesting, Jared, the pack or whatever is kind of broke up a little bit, but interesting, they're all running about the same times as their leaders, so they haven't lost their speed.
No, I think there was a lot of tire saving, but I think there might have been just too much tire saving going on in that pack. Wow, Paul K flies to the outside. He's gonna pass Jason Spear one way or another. He went way upstairs. Spear was running the middle. Paul K to the well outside. Now he's going to have to battle on the outside 3 and 4 here, where he will have that momentum off of turn 4. But Spear doing a great job, slides up, almost was able to stay in front of him, but just couldn't quite get there. Reiner now putting Spear under pressure.
Yeah, that was an amazing move by the 8-8 machine, riding our title car there, that Alive Church machine. What a great move he made to get that position. Reiner now to the bottom, looking underneath the Spear. Spear going to hold him off.
I think that was Nathan Maurer bounced the wall off turn 4.
All right, look in on Maurer. Not seeing damage. He is closing in, however, on Tony Ratliff here. So the 60, as we expect, late in the run, he starts to come forward here. Spear and Reiner still going at it. Spear continues to hold that position.
What I find interesting, Dean, about Spear is he was caught by these guys, by Paul K and Bryce Reiner. Maurer and him were battling about, 15 laps ago? But Reiner and Paul K definitely have struggled to pass Jason Spear, who is not I wouldn't call him a Ryan Newman or anything like that. He's not a guy that's making it super difficult on you to pass, but it just kind of illustrates the point that even though this is a short track, aerodynamics is still a major factor, and it's so hard to pass here. Even if you've caught a driver down, it still is not a give-me to get around him.
Well, we've seen what Paul K had to do, right? He had to go higher than high and get up there and make that 83 uncomfortable, and I like that move. That's one of the moves I like to pull, Jared, is shock them, You give the guys the bottom, so they take the bottom, but they can't complete the pass down there. But when they give you the bottom, how about going higher than high and shocking them and scaring them a little bit?
Yeah, I would have thought that would have been the move to make. I mean, that's kind of what Paul K did, right, to get around him. And now you see Reiner has had to kind of fight on the bottom. I mean, Spear has really kind of locked down that outside, making Bryce Reiner go around on the bottom. He's got the nose now, but Spear just able to roll the middle just a little bit. He might have cut him a break there, but or did he? Yeah, Spear's still on the outside of him. Now Reiner's clear.
So Reiner does get clear here. Jackson now battling with Leal. That's for 8th place. Leal cuts underneath now. Jackson will try and hold him off from the high side.
Yeah, and all that battling between Paul K, Reiner, and Spear has allowed that main pack to kind of catch back up, Dean. I mean, they're only about half a second behind.
Sorry, Jerry, a little technical difficulty as my earpiece has fallen off of my headset.
Well, that's not great.
It's not great. It's not comfortable, but it still works.
But man, it's this race heating up right now, and boy, it has been really exciting to kind of watch these guys kind of size each other up. But one thing I will say, Dean, is the leaders were way out, and it has, aside from Greg Ratliff and a little bit Brian Helm, everybody's starting to kind of smush back together. If you notice, I mean, Tony Ratliff has gotten passed by Nathan Maurer, and he is starting to slide back to Paul K. Travis. So I mean, we could have a pack of about 10 or 15 cars, Dean, here in a second again.
Oh, absolutely we can. But I got to tell you, Greg Ratliff is on an absolute mission here tonight. I mean, he went out hard. You'd think he'd be fading? No, he's amongst the leaders in lap time still here on lap 75. So Greg's going to be tough to beat. But guys like Maurer are coming. Paul K. Travis making headway. Here comes Reiner. I mean, you know, if Reiner, the problem at this track, Jared, is track position. And when you qualify where Reiner and Leal did, for example, it makes it awfully tough.
It really does. And now Reiner making a move on Paul K. Travis.
Yeah, Reiner underneath. Looks like he's going to complete that pass. I don't even think Paul K. let him do that. That was just the power of the 14. So Reiner knows he's got to win here tonight, and he's doing everything in his power to try and make that happen. There's Leal in 8th. Also, he just needs to have a decent top 10, and he's doing that.
Yeah, and he's doing what he has to do, right? At the end of the day, he knows Reiner can finish, 6 spots ahead of him, and that's only 6 points that Reiner's going to gain. Reiner is a guy under pressure, right?
Absolutely is. Reiner's got to do everything he can to get every point available.
And with that incident, James Hebert's slim chance is gone, so it is a 2-man championship race now. And Reiner needs every point he can get. And right now, Dean, he's only getting 2 on Leal tonight. So not what he needs.
No, it's just not enough. Wrecker was looking under Ripka there momentarily. And look at Logan Joyner. Not what he wanted. I mean, he moved up and now he's back in 12th. He's faded. It looks like he's settled in here now. But it might be too little too late. The Toad Man up 5 spots. He's in 13th. You got Buskirk in 14th, Brantley 15th, Claus Williams back here, and Rachel Hunt. And, when I see some of these names and I see Rachel and what she said about this track, just reminds me, some tracks just don't set well with you, Jared.
No, but I'll tell you, it has been the Greg Ratliff show, and maybe the Nathan Maurer show, as Nathan Maurer has caught Brian Helm for second place. But, man, I mean, Greg Ratliff, 4-second lead at a track like Iowa, any track a mile or smaller, I mean, that is a massive lead. I cannot emphasize how big of a lead that really is. And he is just continuing to open this thing up even more every lap.
Yeah, it is massive. He's been doing great. Last lap, he was at 25-12. Helm and Maurer about the same. Tony Ratliff a little faster there. So really the whole field right in that range. It's shocking how even everybody is.
Yeah, and the key thing is, Dean, is that middle part of this run, right? We pitted on lap 28. It's lap 83. It's really just the middle part of that run where Greg Ratliff was able to maintain speed. Everybody's kind of fallen off to the same point. And it's consistent now, but Greg Ratliff was just a 10th here, a 10th here, a 10th here faster, and that does add up over 30 laps or 40 laps. And you're seeing that gap now as we got somebody on pit road, Dean. That is Claus Williams with an early stop. Really, I mean, I think he can make it from here, in fact. So this might be a good call for him.
Yeah, I think it's a great call. I mean, if ever I thought a short pit would work, it's what we've seen tonight. Everybody equalizing out here after so many laps. Like, why not get yourself some track position here? So look for someone else, maybe a Maurer, maybe a Helm. One of these guys come in and try and short pit.
Howard trying everything he can to get on Helm, but you look at the gap, Dean. It is first to fourth, 4 seconds. All right, from second place to ninth place, it's 4 seconds. I mean, that is insane to me.
It really is. It's a massive lead. And there goes Maurer down to the bottom.
Oh,
Helm
man,
squeezing him here. Wow, almost contact. But it looks like Maurer's going to get the job done. Holy cow.
Man, Maurer wanted by, and Helm was running his line, and boy, they made some contact. That boat drivers might be a little hot under the collar after that one. I don't know, but
They may be, and that's often the way it is, Jared. It's not one driver. Both drivers think they're right. Both drivers get hot, and you could have something happen a little later in the race. Tony Ratliff sitting in third, Reiner in that's fourth and fifth. Leal back here still now in sixth. I mean, he's making progress, but not like we're used to seeing from Leal.
yeah, I think he's, being conservative. He's like, I do not want to wreck and finish, at the time 19th or 20th, right? I want to finish good in this race. But, I think he's just like, I only need to have, he can beat me by 3 or 4 spots every race, and I'm still going to win this title with going away, right? So I think, he's just kind of taking it easy and being a little bit casual.
Yeah, the one thing he can't have, a DNF. That's about it.
Right. A DNF, a bad DNF, I should say, right? If Reiner also doesn't finish or finishes like 3 or 4 spots in front of him, I mean, that's not the end of the world, but you just don't want to give up 18 points in a race or anything like that.
So Reiner gets around Tony Ratliff. Ratliff just blinked out, or was that Reiner? I'm not sure, but let's go to a replay here. So there we go. Big gap, big run from Reiner. Looks like Tony had to maybe slow down and not hit the wall. I'm not sure. That gives that inside lane here to Reiner, and he just powers through. I mean, I think Tony tries to cross him over here, but to no avail.
And in case anybody was wondering out there watching, your Super Bowl is set. It's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles against the Kansas City Chiefs. In case you,
Jared,
I help for
how could
help
you?
for suspense, but
I was waiting to hear about the name Buffalo Bills. My goodness.
yeah, it's a tough day for all Super Bowl watchers.
Wrecker working on a Ripka back here. How about Adam Wrecker? He's up 9 spots right now.
Yeah, he started shotgun on the field. I mean, didn't take a time. One of two drivers that actually gridded that didn't take a time. So he's just out here doing himself here, man. I mean, I think Adam finished third in points in the full season, Dean, and didn't get a win. And I think he's just trying to look for a little bit of momentum going into the regular season here.
Wow, and Ripka there, the car dancing around. Holy cow.
Ooh, somebody's loose back there. That might have been Ripka. It was Ripka, as Wrecker does clear him. But, boy, you look at this race, Dean. What I find crazy is we were at Iowa, a few months ago, right? Or I guess back in June at this point in time. But, it just feels like an eternity ago. But these guys were here, and they didn't have the kind of race they're having tonight, Dean.
No, I mean, it looks completely different. Ripka hits pit road. He's had enough fighting that machine. Ratliff continues to lead over 4 seconds ahead of Nate Maurer. So pit stop sort of beginning. I think Ripka just had enough of dealing with that machine, though. Here comes Reiner underneath the helm. There's
Ripka, who you look at these guys battling hard here. It is pit stop time. I mean, it really can be, your stop here if you can make this work for the end of the race, but you have to manage those tires. That's going to be the key for these guys coming on pit road early. You got to manage these tires to the end of this race.
Well, you do, and we just seen Helm get wildly loose there, so that car is going away quite obviously. We look for some of our leaders to be coming in. Reiner almost into the wall there. I mean, these cars are going away, Jared.
Yeah, they are, and you're getting down to this point where you really want to stay out as long as you can. I'm an overcut kind of guy. You don't want to be caught by cautions or anything like that. As Buskirk leaves pit road, we got Todd the Toadman Gilly down pit road now. Rachel Hunt's completed her stop, but you got to stay out as long as you possibly can, Dean. You do not want to give up unless you're at hemorrhaging time.
Well, I disagree, as usual, Jared. I want to come in early and get track position, right? I want to come in as early as possible, get me the track position. I know you don't want to give up your spot, so to speak, but I think it's a net gain. There's Paul K in 7th. Spear and our leader comes in, so nobody's going to short pit him. He comes in. Wow! Greg Ratliff on pit road.
So now the door is open, right? I mean, Greg Ratliff on pit road. Is this going to undo his good work by pitting this earlier?
Well, I think if we stay green, I think it's all his based on this early pit. But I think it's changed now because everybody behind him is going to stay out as long as possible. They're hoping for cautions or some other kind of advantage. Jason Jackson on pit road.
Everybody's coming down. Now the window's open basically at this point.
Very interesting development. Our leader doesn't often come in first. He did here tonight. How is that going to play out for Greg Ratliff? He's back out on the track.
Yeah, if I'm Nathan Maurer with the lap times I'm doing, which haven't really changed a whole lot. I mean, he's been running about 25 flat, 25-1 for many laps at this point. I stay out until that fuel's out. And I know that I'll have the speed at the end of this run over Greg Ratliff. I think Ratliff may have made a fatal error here tonight, Dean.
He may have. I mean, if a caution drops right now, he's in a world of hurt. Logan Joyner comes on to pit road. So Maurer, the race leader right now. Reiner in 2nd. Helm in 3rd. Tony Ratliff getting passed by Jorge Leal. So Leal making a surge finally here at the end of the run. Paul K, Jason Spear head to pit road. Behind him, Brantley coming in as well. So everybody outside of the top 6 has come in.
Yeah, I like this move. And we got Brian Helm coming on pit road. He's giving up the ghost. That looks like Ratliff maybe behind. Or no, sorry. Yeah, it is Tony Ratliff. It is.
And Wrecker a little further back coming in as well. So that leaves Maurer, Reiner, and Leal.
Somebody smacked the wall good off turn 4. I don't know who that was, but my goodness.
Well, this is where, we've got a lot of guys out there on fresh rubber. That's where mistakes can be made. Some of these 3 that are still out there, they are absolutely praying for a caution. Logan Joyner just set the fastest lap of the race, so he's going to continue to go out and go hard. We'll see how that plays out in the end.
And there, so Nathan Maurer, he's stretching this thing out, man, and I like this move because he does have Ratliff a lap down. But as soon as Ratliff gets his lap back, you got to hit pit road. That's the extent of this long run here. But boy, I think this is going to be an intriguing race, Dean, at the end of this thing. I think unless Ratliff has really pulled an ace out of the hat here, or a hair out of the hat, or whatever the saying is, I think that he is in a bad spot.
The old hair out of the hat. I like it, Jared.
Tony Ratliff speeding on Xfinity, so he's back on pit road. His top 5 night undone by a penalty, Dean.
Oh, no. I mean, we just seen Tony come in. I didn't realize that was a second time in. That is tragedy there for the number 6 of Tony Ratliff.
And another driver running in the top 5, Paul K. Travis, speeding on entry. So he is now in 17th, 3 laps down. So tough break for Ratliff of the Tony variety and Paul K. Travis, both hit with speeding penalties, 1 on entry, 1 on exit.
Wow. I mean, we talk about it, right? This is where races are won and lost more times than not. Right now, Greg Ratliff has got traffic. He's coming up on our leaders here, Bryce Reiner and Nate Maurer. No problem with Reiner as Reiner peels off, as you said, soon as he comes up to you, time to pit, Reiner does. Maurer will be next, and we're going to head on board with Nate Maurer.
Yeah, I can't, and Leal's still out too, by the way. About 2.3 seconds behind, but I think Maurer, you got to come in pits now unless you can make it to the end, but I don't think that's possible.
No,
wow.
He's got no shot to make it to the end, but he's staying out, so very interesting here. And, you know, the other interesting thing was you have the Leal-Reiner matchup, so Leal stayed out longer than Bryce Reiner, and that's for the championship there. Leal right now is in second position.
Maurer staying out again. I mean, this is going to be interesting as Maurer undoing his strategy as Tony Ratliff has pulled his car to the garage after that speeding penalty.
What a shame. Claus Williams down on pit road. I think that's the Olsen machine sitting right in front of him.
Claus, that's his second pit of the night. So he might have just he did that short pit around lap 80. So I think he's pitted again to make sure he can make it to the end, but we'll see how that plays out for him.
All right, Maurer and Leal seemingly going to stay out here forever. I mean, I can't believe it at this point, but it's a great strategy. I mean, if you're going to do something different, do something different. Bryce Reiner just set his best lap of the race. Now, these late pits, now you got to deal with traffic, Jared. I mean, you look at Reiner, he's got Jackson in front of him, the Toad Man's in front of him. You know, he's got a ton of work to do here.
Yeah, Maurer's losing time. I mean, Leal's still running 25 flats, but Nathan Maurer's running 25 twos, and that Leal's now on pit road. So Maurer is going to be the last guy to come down pit road tonight, Dean.
Very interesting. Different strategy. I'm all about it. Let's do something different than everybody else.
And he is coming in. He's coming in, Dean. Sorry.
All right. We got the communique, the 60, of Nate Maurer about to make his pit stop.
Conservative entry.
Yeah, that's very conservative there from Nate Maurer. So the lead will go back over to the 5 of Greg Ratliff. Helm will be in second. 9.5 seconds behind, Jared.
Yeah, Leal is still on pit road. He is now down and away. Where is it going to cycle out for Leal? There goes Ratliff by.
And how about Ripka? Whatever his pit strategy was, he has made up a ton of spots. He's moved up to third position.
Yeah, he was one of the early stoppers, so not too surprising there.
Reiner getting by. That's Logan there. He passes Logan Joyner. So Bryce Reiner now back up to 4th. Leal has come out in 12th position. Maurer's going to come out behind him. So these guys are going to be in, actually 11th and 12th right now for Leal and Maurer. And I mean, there's Greg Ratliff. He's actually, behind them, just like a half a corner behind them. This is unbelievable what Greg Ratliff's doing. You want to change a narrative, Jared? Here it is.
He's got a 9-second lead over Brian Helm, who pitted 5 laps after him. Then you have Ripka on the same strategy. Maurer has wrecked off the straightaway. He is in the Legends Oval area, Dean. He has wrecked it.
No, Nate Maurer. Oh my goodness, coming full speed through that area. Unbelievable. The 60 on the fresh rubber. Something happened. Let's get a look at it.
It's lost it. Wow.
So Maurer all alone here. Remember, cold tires, and he just loses the rear end. Too much power down into the grass. And he'll hit the wall a little bit as well. So tragedy here for the 60.
Man, I mean, that's tough. I think Maurer could have had a good shot at winning this race. I have no doubt about it, but I think that is undone at this point.
See Jason Jackson in 6th, the Toad Man in 7th. He's up 11 spots, one of our big movers on the night. Spear in 8th. Wrecker there right in front of Leal. So all of this kind of, Reiner now is picked up, say, 7 points on George Leal. I mean, is that enough, Jared?
It's a lot. It does seem like a lot. As Maurer has come to pit road, Dean, that car, man, that is such a tough break for him. 7 points with 3 races is only going to get you 21 points. So he'll still lose the title by 6 points if he continues on that track. So he's going to need more than 7. He would need 9 points every race to turn a tie. That's what he would do.
He's giving himself a shot, right?
Yeah, he's working on it. But the key is he's going to need to lead laps, and he didn't get any laps led so far in this race tonight, Dean. As Maurer has pulled to the garage. Tough break for Nate. I think he had the winning strategy, Dean. I really do.
Well, of course we disagree on that, but we'll never know, will we?
No, and that's why I can claim it so arrogantly.
I love it.
So right now, Ratliff 8.7 second lead over Brian Helm, and the lap times, Brian Helm 5 lap newer tires, but the lap times are already starting to come down in Greg Ratliff's favor. So I don't think that Brian Helm is going to be able to make that up. Bryce Reiner is also a tick slower than Ratliff, so I don't think that's going to help out. The only guy on the track that could potentially make something happen is George Leal. He's doing 24.2s to Ratliff's 24.7s, but the problem is he is 15 seconds behind, and he has traffic to get through, like you talked about before, Dean. And he was already well behind Greg Ratliff. He was about 7 or 8 seconds behind Ratliff before pit stops began.
We talked about Ratliff, Greg that is, leading the race. We talked about him, a little bit of an off season here. What is so different here tonight, Jared? Is it just you hit a track that you really like and everything comes back? Like, why is he so dominating here tonight?
I think that's it, right? I mean, he is a track. This is a track that he has traditionally done very well at. If you look at the stats and everything in this league, it is a track that he has done very well at every single year. But at the end of the day, it also is just a little bit of circumstance, right? I mean, some of these guys didn't qualify good, maybe didn't practice. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I mean, we had a lot of guys that have been good at this track that weren't here, that didn't qualify well, kind of ran some ho-hum laps. Ratliff I think he put in time to be good here tonight, Dean, on top of how good he already is. So you kind of got a double pump of Greg Ratliff tonight.
Yeah, it's so good to see. Good to see him back out here, dominating as we've seen him do in the past. Helm in second, about 9 seconds back. And then Bryce Reiner, who's closing up on him a little bit. So Reiner, I mean, he's going to pick up a few points. Leal, on that late pit strategy, I mean, he's going to probably pick up a couple of more spots yet. So, not what Reiner wants to see, but this race ain't over. I mean, anything could happen here.
Yeah, it is. And you're exactly right, Dean. And like I said before, Leal is only 4 seconds behind Reiner right now, but he's still got a lot of traffic to get through. But I think Bryce Reiner is going to be lucky to gain any points on Leal here tonight, which is not what Reiner wants, right? I think he wants, some more help in that regard.
Yeah, well, outside of putting Leal in the wall, I don't see him getting much here. Ripka and Joyner going at it. Leal right behind them.
Yeah, you had that battle going on. You also have Jason Spear and Todd Gilly going at it. Spear was in the top 5 most of the night, Dean. Slow pit stop and has had to work his way back up to the pack. Wrecker in this group too, as Spear clears Gilly, and now Wrecker trying to get around Gilly.
Yeah, Wrecker's been impressive here. They all have, but Wrecker, I think you're going to see him move forward even more.
Yeah, he did pit toward the end of this. I mean, Gilly on older tires pitted on lap 97.
All right.
As Leal, he's gotten around. He hasn't cleared Joyner. It looked like he did, but
so the
Joyner
51
holding off.
Continuing here to work on Joyner, and the one thing he can't do is make a mistake and wreck. He's well aware of that, isn't he, Jared?
Absolutely. Right now, if he did wreck, he would only lose 8 spots. And with Reiner 2 spots ahead of him, now 1 spot ahead of him, that would be that 9 point that Bryce Reiner needs, by the way. So that is what Bryce Reiner needs him to wreck out now and finish 15th in this race. But I don't think that's going to happen at this point.
So Leal into 4th. Reiner now making a move for 2nd. So he sees Leal coming. He says, I need another spot.
Yeah, it's just so tough. I mean, Leal has been so good. I haven't covered every race this season, but when every race I've been in, Leal has been a guy to talk about, right? He has been a guy that's been important in the race and been a top 5 person every race, whereas Reiner's gotten caught up in wrecks. He's had some bad luck. He's had some things go against him in races, and that does change how your season goes, no matter how many good runs you have.
Yeah, I mean, championships are about consistency. You can't have any of these problems. Right now, Ratliff's lead down to 8.5 seconds. Wrecker has gotten by Spears, so Wrecker's up 11 spots now into 8th. He's about 2.5 seconds behind Jason Jackson. I'm not sure if he can make up that ground, but maybe he can.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be tight, but we've got 36 laps to go. Yeah, 36 laps, 37 laps to go. So it's going to be a tough battle, but man, oh man. You got to tip your hat to Greg Ratliff. I mean, just a dominating performance. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on around the racetrack right now, but Greg Ratliff is going to come up to some lap traffic. Jason Brantley at the back there, Corey Buskirk there as well. So those guys going to be under heat to stay on the lead lap, and that could slow down Greg Ratliff a little bit.
Well, it could for sure, but why don't we do this, Jared? Why don't we take a lap or two with our leader, Greg Ratliff? Maybe you can tell us what you see from inside the car of the number 5.
Looking on board right now, Dean, and you see him just coming off the corner there, really smooth. He was a little bit loose there off turn 4. Early braking, that's the key into this corner, and stay above that first bump. If you can stay around above those first bumps, those second set of bumps there where he cut down, are not nearly as painful and really help you out there. Again, running that middle groove right now. So the middle groove has kind of come up, but you have to watch Jason Brantley in front of him. He's kind of running in that groove as Brantley hits the wall in front of a race leader. Kind of makes you wince a little bit if you're Greg Ratliff. but he is doing a great job. He's avoiding those initial bumps that are so rough and hard on the suspension. He's just coming down to that yellow line, letting the car kind of roll back up, and then again through 3 and 4, he's going to run that middle line just a little bit there, try to get away from that aero drag that Brantley's putting on the car.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm a little bit nervous for him here. Brantley looks a little shaky here late in this race. And, it's the one thing that can derail you. It makes you nervous, Jared.
Yeah, it does. And you look at the lap times. I mean, Ratliff went from 24 nines, eights to 25 flats as he continues to close up on Brantley here. And you're just trying to be cautious, right? You've got an 8-second lead on Reiner. Reiner is coming. I don't think Reiner will get there, and now he's going to make the big move underneath Brantley. So I think Ratliff is clear, but Brantley Brantley let off the gas, let him go, and Ratliff will have that done.
Yeah, classy move by the 3 machine there. I love it. Of course, he's rocking that East Coast web printers machine, a sponsor here in the league. We love them. Brantley will be back to fight another day, but Greg Ratliff dominating here tonight. Reiner in second. There's Helm. He maintains 3rd place. Leal, though, closing. He is in 4th. Joyner, who, he come out hot on run number 1 and faded bad. He's recovered nicely for 5th, Jared.
Yeah, he has, and he's done such a great job trying to mitigate that. He's going to have some guys that are going to come up on him with fresher tires eventually. But I think at the end of the day, he's going to have learned a lot during that long run. Like, oh, man, I pushed this thing too hard. And I think this is what's important for Logan, is to kind of learn and feel your way out a little bit in these races and try to kind of get your footing around.
Yeah, it takes a bit. You come in a league like this with a lot of good long run guys, you're going to have to ride a few races to kind of understand how to do it and how to maximize it. But I tell you, Joyner's got the speed. He's looked good. Ripka, decent spot here. He's up 3 spots into 6. Jackson up 8 into 7th. Wrecker continues to merge forward. He's up 11 into 8th now. Spear in 9th, and the Toad man, Todd Gilly, with his consistency this season, up 8 spots into the top 10.
Yeah, just a great job by those guys. I mean, it's just a great race. I mean, we had that one caution, and everything's kind of settled out here tonight. Everybody doing a really good job.
Quiet out on the track right now. Everybody's spaced out. There's Helm in 3rd, Reiner in 2nd, and of course Greg Ratliff in his own zip code, now 6.5 second lead. So Reiner's still closing.
Yeah, he is coming down, but I just don't think he's going to have enough time, right? He could. The math is not mathing on this one. 25 laps. And Ratliff did a 24.9, Reiner a 24.8. So almost 2/10 quicker for Bryce Reiner. He is 6.5 seconds ahead, or behind. So, I mean, it's going to be, so we do the math there. There's 5, that's 10. I'm going to say he's probably about 5 laps short of catching Ratliff. That's my guess, based on my rough math there.
All right. Got a little look at the inner workings of the mind of Jared Carr there.
We'll see. I don't know. I could be really far off.
Of course, there's Paul K. Travis. Tragedy on pit road for the Alive Church machine. Currently shown in 14th. Not the night he wanted. He was fast, but unfortunate things happening on pit road. Rachel quietly is making it through the race. She wasn't really expected to finish at all here tonight. She might have pulled over at some point. Not a good track for her and her condition. She's in 13th, picked up 4 spots quietly here.
Yeah, she's doing a great job, in my opinion. I mean, it's, slow and steady wins the race, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Jared the Tortoise, we call him.
Might as well be. Might as well be my nickname.
Oh, come on now, Jared. Very fast race car driver. One of these days we'll get someone else to broadcast and we'll get out there, Jared, and compete a little bit.
Oh, I don't know. Fix that up. I think I'd be in a world of trouble, but we'll see. It'd be a fun time either way.
Absolutely, it would. Well, we'll bring Barron with us. We could beat up on Barron at least.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. I'm down. Let me know.
And Barron, if you're listening, I'm very sorry, my friend. So as Ratliff works through some traffic, there's Reiner now 5.7 seconds as it continues to come down. Actually, let's go back to Greg and look in on our time delta here. And you can see the graph, Jared. It's just slanted in one direction. 5 laps, he's picked up about 7/10.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, five laps, 7/10. I mean, that's not going to get it done, is it?
Well, I don't have the abacus anymore, Jared, so, I mean, you know, it's probably not, no, for sure. I mean, Greg set the pace. There's a good chance that Greg's not pushing that machine at all at this point. Why would he be? He's just running his line and hitting his marks. He's on cruise control. Reiner in second, doing everything he can. Impressive, though. He passed Helm, and he's put 5.5 seconds on Helm. Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference of laps. I mean, Reiner almost 5 laps newer tires. So I mean, that's the difference over Helm.
All right, Leal closing in on Helm, so that may be a battle before this thing is over. We're down to about 7/10 of a second between Helm and Leal.
Everybody just kind of, this is one of those points in the race where you're just kind of just trying to find the groove and just trying to, you know, make it to the end of the race. The one thing that I will say though, Dean, is, you know, you get a caution late in these things, man, it could just change the entires.
Wrecker, Jackson, and Ripka are going at it right now. Holy cow. Wrecker, they were 3 wide momentarily. Wrecker takes to the bottom. Jackson trying to hold him off, and I think he might just do it. So big battle for 6th position here. Jackson not giving an inch. Too late in the race to be given anyway. He will not. Wrecker's going to have to earn it down here on the bottom.
Yeah, and you talk about, you know, these guys are great racers, but racing like this toward the end of the race, you know, if Greg Ratliff knew this is going on, I think it'd make him a little bit nervous.
Well, it certainly would. I mean, other guys hoping these guys wreck somehow, bring out that caution. But, I mean, these guys too good to be wrecking here. And the Wrecker is going to make this pass here, I think, coming up in this corner. But no, Jackson surges on the outside.
This is getting tight here. Man.
Great corner for Jason Jackson. Holds off Wrecker. Wrecker's got to be frustrated. He's got him now, and he'll slide up. Jackson with the crossover goes to the bottom. Holy cow. So put Adam Wrecker now up 12 spots into 7th. He sets his eyes on Lance Ripka. And he's a little sideways off the corner. Holy.
This is getting good back here in this battle for 7th place here as Ripka trying to hold off Wrecker. I mean, Dean, this is the only battle we got on the track right now.
And it's a good one, Jared. We go on board with Jason Jackson right behind these guys. Not out of this thing yet.
Take that back. We do have one other battle. It's Corey Buskirk and Todd Gilly. That is a battle for 11th position here. Just behind the race leaders. Ratliff just went through there, but the battle on the lead lap is only between Ripka, Wrecker, and Jackson. That's a battle for 6th place.
Wrecker with a good drive off the corner on the low side. Heads to the bottom underneath the Lance Ripka. Ripka with the preferred line. He'll get the drive off. I think he'll hold him off. He's a little loose there, a little yawed out. Jackson still right here looking to pounce. 10 to go. What a battle raging on here. This is for 6th position. Take a quick look in on the Toad Man. He's rocking the high side. Buskirk down on the low side. They continue to do battle here.
Man, oh man, this is a good battle. I mean, we haven't had a lot to talk about here over the last 20 laps, to be honest. But man, this has been quite a run.
Yeah, great little battle here. Wrecker, perhaps the fastest, but you got to be able to pass. You know, just you can claim being the fastest, but you're not finishing in front of the guy in front of you. You're not the fastest. Wrecker back to the bottom, but Ripka with a great entrance there will hold him off. Both guys right in each other's tracks here. Wrecker looking anywhere he can to get a little run. He just can't get it done. Meanwhile, up front, Ratliff now 5 seconds ahead of Reiner. Reiner 5 seconds ahead of Leal. Helm, another couple back to him in 4th. Then Joyner. Then back to this battle.
Continuing to work on this, man. It is, what a battle here. And the thing is, Dean, I mean, not to make things a little bit more on edge, but Greg Ratliff is only about 4 seconds behind that battle. With 5 laps to go, he's not going to catch it, but I mean, it's in his mirror. Is in his front view watching this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little much for him to get up here. He doesn't want to get up here. Wrecker down to the bottom one more time. Ripka still rocking that middle lane, gonna hold him off, but this a little bit better from the 11, but he's gonna have to slide in line anyway. He surges here a little bit, little better exit here, and he might be able to clear him. He's gonna have to throw it in here hard, not willing to do it.
And these guys, they're just battling for pride, right? I mean, this is just hard racing. These guys want every spot they can get, and you think about these races, Dean. Wrecker almost misses the bottom there, almost takes Ripka with him.
And that allows Jackson to come back. Jackson now to the bottom. We're on 2 to go. Jackson makes the move on Wrecker. How about that?
Boy, I tell you what I was going to say is, this might be a battle for 6th place, and people are like, why are they fighting so hard? Man, it's about pride at this point in the season. You want to go out there and be like, I did what I had to do in this race to get there.
Absolutely. White flag out. Greg Ratliff dominating here tonight, still leading by 5 seconds. He's down through 1, through 2, the 5. Greg Ratliff returning to form here at Iowa. He will be your race winner. How about that? Greg is absolutely loving it. Battle back where we were. Jackson under Ripka. Wrecker on the high side. Jackson stalls out a bit. They head down into 4.
Who's going to make the sliders? The fireworks go off in turn number 3 as these guys pass by. Here we go. Jackson full throttle off the corner. Here's Wrecker. It's going to be Jackson barely beating Wrecker for that spot. That's 7th spot. Wrecker 8th. Spear 9th. Last car on the lead lap. Then we have Buskirk, Gilly, Brantley, and Hunt. And Paul K. Travis rounding out your finishing cars in the race tonight. What a battle back there. But Dean, this story goes to Greg Ratliff.
Yeah, unbelievable job by him. I mean, thrilling battle back there, but this was all about this 5 machine. His return to form, I mean, I'm sure he never lost it. Maybe it was bad luck or whatever, but he's got to be thrilled. And you can see here, he said, I've been working on this burnout for a long time, Jared. I got to use it.
And he's burning it down. That's got to be a great feeling for him. Hasn't won a race, Dean, since June. I mean, it has been a long time for Greg Ratliff in the Sunday Xfinity Series, and he wants to have that off his belt.
Man, oh man. Great job by him. Great battle back there. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get some race interviews in. All right, back here at Iowa. Look at that beautiful shot of Iowa. I actually love this track, Jared.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks too. I mean, you can really battle on it. You can have some really good racing, and you can also have a dominant performance like Greg Ratliff had tonight.
Yeah, it was a great performance. Let's look at our race results here. You're going to see the top 10 we talked about. Gilly gets 11th, Brantley in 12th, Hunt, Travis, Maurer. I mean, Travis and Maurer heartbroken here tonight. Claus Williams, Tony Ratliff, also a fast car. Bear early wreck with Olson, Dibble down there. So, I mean, some of these guys just unfortunate stuff. We had pit road errors. We had a wreck there, Jared, and tragedy can strike at Iowa in many ways.
Yeah, I can, and you think about Nathan Maurer and what could have been. We don't know if he would have been able to put a battle on it, but based on the fact that Bryce Reiner was chasing him down, I think he would have come close. I don't think he would have gotten there, but I think it would have been a very close battle had he been able to stay in the race. But at the end of the day, it's all about Greg Ratliff. I mean, he did not give anybody else an opportunity to lead this race except in the first 5 laps today, Dean.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job by him. Great job by our points leader as well, the 51, Jorge Leal. He'll finish 3rd here. Congratulations, George.
Appreciate it, Dean. That was pretty hard fought 3rd place there.
Man, it really was. I mean, I don't want to say poor qualifying, or maybe I do, George. A little further back, 7th spot, maybe not making progress early in the run. A lot of traffic. Tell us about the early part of the race.
Yeah, it just seemed like everybody was so even, and then if you try to push it, I just felt like I was gonna burn my tires up. I mean, I figured we would go on a long run from the start, and I tried to push it a little bit harder after that first caution, but I was trying to pass Jason Jackson there, and I felt like I was just working too hard to pass him, so I just kind of hung in there and waited for the laps, and then I started moving forward a little bit there before the pit stop.
Well, as you went along, George, how much were you thinking about your championship run here, and in particular, Bryce Reiner? He finished 1 ahead of you, but I mean, you have 1 point to spare, don't you?
Yeah, I do, and I really thought about, because I felt like I was doing pretty good on the really long run, so I really thought about undercutting them big time and kind of forcing their hand a little bit, but I just kind of said, screw it, I'll just kind of go in right after Bryce and just kind of stay on his pace.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the pit stops, like you said there, it was interesting there. We had a few guys do some different things, and with the lap times kind of equaling out, do you think there were some gains to be made with these guys who short pit?
Oh, for sure. If you had the track position up and you were in the top, I don't know, 5 or so, and you could have undercut Greg, because obviously Greg put an extra, I think, 3 seconds on Bryce between the first run and the second run. So I think it was definitely the move. But like I said, I kind of got a little bit nervous about getting trapped a lap down, because it's happened to me at Richmond a couple times. So I just figured I'd wait for Bryce to pit, and then I'd go in right after him.
And when we look at the track, traditionally 3 and 4, a lot of guys riding up high. Tonight, a lot of guys running down lower on the track. Well, what were you doing out there, and what did you think about the track?
Yeah, usually I feel like you run the bottom and then kind of move up, but after that long green run, I was burning my right front up, so I figured I'd just go right to the outside from the start, and then I kind of figured out a little thing in turn 1 and 2. I was kind of slowing down a little early and cutting down to the bottom, and I was getting a huge run on people, and then I accidentally kind of figured out that the top was working. In 3 and 4, I was kind of being able to roll the center a lot better and get a better angle off. But this track always provides pretty good racing, different lines, and it was nice because even when your tires rolled, you could still kind of run down to the bottom and pass. Where at Richmond, if the guy was on the outside, it was damn near impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can have some great racing out here. George, you did everything you needed to do here tonight. A hard fought third place. You maintained that gap you got in the points. A couple of races to go, so we look forward to see if you can close this thing out or not. But again, congrats on third, man, and we'll turn the mic over to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys doing the broadcast, and thank Live Church for sponsoring this series, and East Coast Web Printing for printers for putting on the Thursday night show. Just a huge congrats to Greg. He was in here kicking our ass left and right, and then he went through a little dry spell, and he just kept working at it. No complaints, and he really put it on us tonight. So congrats to him.
All right, Jared, that's our third place finisher, the points leader, Jorge Leal.
Yeah, and I'm down here with runner-up Bryce Reiner. Bryce, congratulations on second place. You gained a little bit of ground in the championship, but at the end of the day, you came home with a great, hard-fought second-place finish at Iowa.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. It was a good race here tonight.
Let's talk about it a little bit. I mean, you qualified back in 7th, I believe, maybe 8th, and you kind of worked your way through the field, but it was a little bit of a slow burn for you tonight until those pit stops kind of came around after the first caution. Did you feel like it was a really hard track to pass at and you just needed some clean air, or were you just kind of taking your time at the beginning of that race?
Yeah, don't mind me if I correct you, but yeah, I started P10, so it wasn't the best of qualifying efforts for me. But tire saving at this track is somewhat difficult because you want to either hug that bottom or stay at that first seam to kind of get the car to rotate and miss those huge bumps that are on the bottom of the track and the top of the track. They're aggressive. You can't really get to the throttle or turn the car until you get either before it or after it you hit the gas. But yeah, it's just tough, running 20, 25, 30 laps here. That's when I think the top side kind of comes in a little bit. And that's where I wanted to start running the top, but the cars in front of me and everyone in front of me started running the top as well. So it's super difficult to try to make that pass work. And I had a couple tricky passes to make tonight. Heck of a battle with Jason and I believe Brian tonight, just to try to get those runs off of 4 and try to get to the inside. And if I can get there, my hope was to drive it in deep and try to make that car turn a little bit and just beat him off the exit. But all in all, good race from starting P10. I'll take a P2.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing you kind of answered some of the questions I had, but the one thing I did want to ask is you stayed out pretty long, not the longest. That was Leal and Nathan Maurer who ended up wrecking. But did you feel like the overcut was the move to make? And did you think that, as you're cutting that gap down pretty good, did you think maybe like you had some chance to catch Greg tonight with that pit strategy call?
To say the least, no, probably not.
That's the correct answer, Bryce. Thank you. Vindication, Jared.
Not. No, Greg was super, super fast tonight, and once I saw him get out to that first lead, and I knew it was going to be tough just to even try to get within a couple seconds of him, let alone, bring it down from 11 to 5. Now 5 seconds is probably 3 laps worth of fall off, so I was thinking to myself, if maybe I pitted 3 laps earlier, maybe I could have got to him, and then by the time my tires evened out to his, we may have a battle on our hands. But I was just too afraid that either George behind me or whoever else was behind me at that point, if they ran longer, they would catch me in the longer run towards the end of the race, and it's great to finish in front of George, especially if the points are so tight. Um, so running long was definitely the right choice for me. Uh, one spot short, but we'll move on.
And we do move on. Next week, Charlotte. How do you feel about that? And then closing out with Homestead, do you feel like you have a chance at getting up there with George? I mean, you're going to have to gain a lot of points. Is it pretty much leave it all on the table at this point, Bryce?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if I've raced Charlotte in the Xfinity with this league. I want to say we did when I first joined. Um, so I don't really know. I'm gonna have to, go back and look at things and see if I could do a little bit better. I know the bottom side is pretty well at Charlotte until the top groove comes in, and I can rip that pretty well. But Homestead's tricky. I'm not a huge fan of Homestead, so we'll try to pull the gap closer at Charlotte, but we'll try to keep kicking.
All right, Dean, that was our runner-up, Bryce Reiner. Bryce, I'm going to give you the opportunity to have the last word on your race here tonight and give out any shout-outs you have.
Yeah, thank you guys. Race was good. One caution, not too bad at all. Um, Green flag for the rest of it. From P10 to P2, I will take it. Close the gap just a little bit on George, but it's great. So thanks to you guys up in the booth for broadcasting this, so we can all rewatch it later. Congrats to Greg, hell of a run. You managed it perfect. So congrats to you, George, for P3, and thanks to the admins in this league to make it run as is, and thanks to all of my sponsors for putting it on the car. And we'll move forward to Charlotte.
All right, Dean, that was Bryce Reiner.
Yeah, Bryce with a nice job here. I mean, he finished ahead of George, so picked up a little bit in the points battle, but this is all about the number 5, Greg Ratliff, back in victory lane where he belongs. How about that, Greg?
Oh gosh, I felt like I was done there for a long time. These guys are just so good, and I don't know if I slipped a little bit or what happened to me.
Well, the guys have said you've been working at it too, Greg. We preach that up here in the booth a lot. How much have you been working on it? I mean, it obviously paid off. Was this just one of your favorite tracks, or you just been putting in the work to get these results?
Well, this is one of my favorite tracks. I've had some good runs here before, and there's a particular line I like to run, and it's worked well for me. And yeah, I've been. Last night I put the work in, probably a couple hundred laps, full fuel runs, and pit parties with 5 or 6 guys, and I knew what the tires was going to do. Like it. I know I set a pretty hard pace, but I knew that I was going to be around 25 flats for several laps after the tires went off. I wouldn't go any lower than that. So, yeah, that paid off. I knew I could run it and just stay after it.
Man, so impressive, Greg. I mean, you're a favorite around the league here. And I got to say, when you listen to the broadcast, you getting tired of the narrative that we're putting out there on you? I mean, you had to be wanting to, I got to squash this.
No, honestly, I'm all good with it. I know you guys has got a job to do up there. And, hey, if a guy's used to be up front and he's falling short, and, yeah, I guess that's a little bit of a story to tell there. But, no, I'm good with it. It just makes me want to get up there more, and it gives me some incentive, I guess, to put the work extra. Well, for me, it's extra work now. Some of these guys, I think, can just show up and win. But, yeah.
Man, it's great to see. And, outside of the first pass and the first few laps to take the lead, you didn't really have much. I mean, we did look in on you when Brantley was in front of you. And, he's about 5 car lengths ahead and he got loose or something. And I thought, boy, oh boy, I bet you that's making Greg a little nervous.
Well, yeah, anytime you got to change your line a little bit when you're trying to squeeze every bit out of the speed out of your car you can, to build that lead and, keep it going. Yeah, it puts you on the edge a little bit, but luckily I had a little bit of a cushion there and I could maneuver around some lap cars there whenever I got up to them.
Well, this being one of your favorite tracks, how about Charlotte, Greg? Are we going to get out here and try and make this 2 in a row next week?
Oh, I'm going to try, but the competition is stiff, and you can't rule out some of these other. We got several guys that could win any week. But yeah, I'm okay at Charlotte. I've had some good runs there, so we'll just load them up and see what happens.
All right, well, we can't wait to see it, Greg. Welcome back to Victory Lane. They've been waiting for you down there. I hope you enjoy this one, man. We enjoyed it. So congrats, and we'll turn the mic over to you, my friend.
All right, man. Well, thanks for the broadcast, and I want to thank Live Church and for the Sunday night sponsorship, and then Mr. Jason Brantley and East Coast Printing for our Thursday night series. And just thank everybody, all my friends out here and drivers that show up week in, week out to make this league what it is. And, everybody's out there trying to run green flag racing. And, it's just, I don't know, I'm just really proud of the league overall. Todd and George, all the work they do, and all the drivers, the work they put in and try to keep it clean. Just means a lot to all of us here.
All right, Jared, Greg Ratliff back in Victory Lane and perhaps even a little emotional over it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, what a year that he's had since, last time he won was the end of June at Nashville Super Speedway, Dean. And, he won at Iowa the last time we were here, which was also in June. He was going through a really great stretch. I mean, he was leading the points in the long season for such a long time. And you go through these dry spells and you kind of, Greg's been around the service iRacing for a while. He's been on NR2K3 and you kind of are like, man, am I just getting to the point where, I'm not going to be able to compete for these anymore. And then you get these opportunities and all of a sudden you're like, I still got it. And, that's got to be a big jolt for him, and going into some tracks here at the end of the year to kind of build that momentum for the long season here, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, you heard him say those exact words, right? He's questioning, am I done? I don't know. So he's not done. You're not done, Greg. Narrative switch. Greg Ratliff back to the old Greg Ratliff. I love seeing it, and I can't wait to see more. Of course, we'll have that next Sunday and every Sunday, 9:10 p.m., and it'll be Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to be a great one. But for here at Iowa, for myself, Dean Doucette, for Mr. Jared Carr, that's going to wrap it up. And we'll see you right here next time on